Lars Matank is living his best life, soaking up the sun in Bulgaria with his pals. Everything seems chill until Lars gets into a bar fight with 4 men over soccer teams. Apparently, Lars was all about SV Werder Bremen, while his opponents were die-hard fans of Bayern Munich. Anyway, Lars left the bar before his friends did, and they allegedly didn't see him again until the next morning. When Lars finally showed up at the Golden Sands Resort, he shared with his friends that he'd been beaten up. But here's where it gets all confusing. Each friend has a different story. Some claim he got beaten up by the same crew he had a clash with at the bar, while others suggest they hired someone local to do their dirty work. Anyway, Lars ends up walking away from this incident with a busted jaw and a ruptured eardrum. No big deal, right? Wrong. Lars paid a visit to a local doctor who hooked him up with 500 milligrams of the antibiotic Cefprozil to prevent any infection in his wounds. The doc advises him to stay behind while his buddies head home, all because of his injury. Lars' friends offer to delay their return until he's healed up, but instead of chilling with his friends, Lars decides to go solo and checks into a hotel near the airport. But here's where things start getting really weird. Hotel cameras catch Lars pulling some straight-up James Bond moves, sneaking around the place like he's being hunted by the CIA or something. He's hiding in elevators, creeping around in the dead of night, and acting all paranoid. And get this, he calls up his mom and whispers that people are out to get him. But here's where things get even spookier. Picture this, okay? It's 1 a.m., and Lars is caught on camera sneaking out of his hotel room, disappearing into the night for a whole hour before slipping back in like nothing happened. But nobody knows where he went during that hour. Now fast forward to Lars at the airport, and things go from weird to downright eerie. He meets with a doctor to check on his injuries, but instead of getting the all clear, Lars starts freaking out. He's sweating bullets, asking about the details of his meds. But then, out of nowhere, a construction worker barges into the doc's office, and Lars is terrified. He mumbled, "I don't want to die here. I have to get out of here," before getting up to leave. He drops his belongings on the floor and runs down the hall. Outside the airport, he climbs over a fence and then runs into a meadow and disappears into a field of sunflowers located beside the Bulgarian National Highway A2, leaving everyone scratching their heads and wondering, what the heck just happened? Here's where it gets even crazier. Lars' friends board their flight, assuming he'll catch up with them later, but he never does. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, and there's still no sign of Lars. It's like he's vanished into the Bermuda Triangle or something. In 2016, officials in Porto Velho, Brazil, stumbled upon a man without any ID, clueless about who he was. When a snapshot of him recovering in a hospital went viral on social media, cyber sleuths noticed a striking resemblance to Lars Matank. But guess what? Turns out the man was eventually identified as Anton Pilipa from Toronto, missing for a solid 5 years. Again, in 2019, a trucker came forward, swearing he'd given Lars a lift out of Dresden. He picked up a hitchhiker as he set off for the city of Brandenburg. Along the way, he couldn't shake the feeling that his passenger looked an awful lot like Lars Matank. Despite this lead, it ended up going nowhere. Fast forward to today, and Lars Matank is still missing. His case remains one of the biggest unsolved mysteries out there, leaving armchair detectives and conspiracy theorists scratching their heads and spinning wild theories. Lars Matank's mom stays active on social media, regularly sharing updates to keep her son's case in the spotlight.